Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Rachel. I garden in Zone 3B in Canada in the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. We just moved into this house. It is a new build, so our backyard is completely empty, and I'm documenting what we're doing to fill it up. This week, or the past few weeks, we have been doing our best to try to figure out how to deal with the slope on the south side of our house. That's where I want my veggie patch to be. We're waiting on a fence, we're waiting on irrigation, sod, a whole bunch of stuff, but the number one thing that we're doing first is putting in the greenhouse and getting some raised beds done. We have been trying to figure out how exactly to go about settling off the area for the greenhouse. We've kind of done it haphazardly. We're gonna need to put in a retaining wall, and I do have clay soil, so we're gonna need to make sure that there's good drainage, and then I want to build a U-shaped box inside the greenhouse, and that's where I'm going to do tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers, which are my favorite things to grow. And unfortunately, in Canada, those things can be a little bit difficult, especially with the amount of wind that I have. This week, I'm just going to walk you through and talk to you and show the footage of everything that we did. So the first thing that I had Jim do, and I helped too, but I didn't like film myself, so it just looks like Jim did everything, and he did most of it. We created a little space for the greenhouse and built the greenhouse. It's a Facebook Marketplace greenhouse, and we disassembled it right when I first gave birth to my baby, and I did not take notes, I didn't take videos, and I lost a whole bunch of the screws. So it's a little bit janky, but it's up and it hasn't blown away yet. And also I moved all of my plants into the greenhouse. I'm moving my tomatoes in and out because it's getting down to about 5 degrees, sometimes a little bit lower overnight still. And so I just don't want to risk it. I accidentally left a window open. I had like shelves like with the lights, like my seed starting set up, and I was hardening them off with the window open before I took them outside, and I forgot to close it one night, and it got down to like 1 degree Celsius, and I lost about 5 plants, which were like all of my contingency plants. So I've been moving my tomatoes in and out, but the rest of everything has been in there for the past week, I would say, and they've all done well. And on top of that, we finished making the first raised bed. I want to do 3 down that side, and Jim filled it up with dirt for me from the local like landscaping supply place. So it is 20% compost and the rest is like a mulchy loam. I planted in some vegetables once we got the bed full of dirt. I planted in beets, which I'm transplanting, and we'll see if those work. I transplanted a couple of them into solo cups a little while ago just to see if they could transplant, and they lived. And then I googled it and it said that people do that. So I had a few stems going per cell in a bunch of them, and so I just kind of pinched them off. I didn't really pull them out too much, and I'm just hoping that the ones that I pinched off die or get absorbed into the new ones. And I planted those in. I have golden beets and red beets, and then I did a row of kale along the back. And then the next day I went in and I planted some sugar snap peas that I got from a local market that a local grower sold. And I'm hoping that once those grow up, it'll shield the kale from the evening sun, because that bed does face west, so it gets pretty harsh evening sun. And kale likes to be cold, so I'm hoping that, shields it from that. It was a little bit hydrophobic when I went to water everything in the first time, so I gave it a little bit of a stir, and it's been raining, so I think that'll correct itself, like, without me having to do too much to it. It's kind of a bummer because you buy this stuff and then it's hydrophobic. Like, otherwise, I got 2 trees for Mother's Day for my backyard. I got a pink spire crabapple, so that does have a more upright growing structure, but it's not like a stick, you know, how some of them are like very pointy. It does branch out a little bit. It is a pink crabapple, but it's not super red. Like the foliage when it grows out is red, but then it turns green. Like new growth is red, but then it turns green. I don't always love a red tree. I don't love warm tones in the garden. I prefer like cool tone greens, cool tone pinks, cool tone everything. And that might change, but that's just how I feel right now. And then I got a Honeycrisp apple, like a true apple, and that I'm hoping will live, and then we'll get yummy fruit from it. I am also very particular about my apples. I need a crunchy apple. I can't do a Macintosh or anything like that. So I have those two coming in. I would also like to eventually get, you know, some evergreens, maybe a pine or a spruce or something like that. I do love a blue spruce. Lodgepole pines are the native pine in my area. And then I would love some birch trees, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out with time. Beyond that, I also planted up my pots in the front. I'm trying not proven winners petunias for the first time. I could not find any, like, I wanted saffron finch and Bordeaux, and I couldn't find either color anywhere. Just, yeah, I couldn't, whatever the other colors are, like a true yellow, which I wanted a more cool tone, like whitey yellow. And then the purples were all warm tone as well, and I found that Bordeaux is more cool tone. And so I potted that up with some black sweet potato vines, Dichondra Silver Falls, and then a white salvia in the middle. And I think that's gonna be really pretty, and I'll show you what that looks like as well. I'll go get some footage of that right now because I need to open up my garage because I keep bringing them in overnight because it's cold. I don't think it's too cold, but I don't really want to risk it. I keep pulling those inside into the garage overnight. The garage isn't heated, but it's attached to my house, so it's a little bit heated. So it keeps them a little bit safer. I also, for Mother's Day, got a yellow rose. I've been buying roses. I love a rose. My nickname when I was growing up was Rosie. And so I just kind of like have a little bit of a love for roses just deep down. I wouldn't exactly say that they're my favorite plant, but they might be. And so I've been looking into the Explorer series of roses, and they're hardy down to zone 2s. They were bred in the 70s by some Canadian botanist. And so I have a few of the Explorers, and then there's an artist series, and the one that I got on Mother's Day was a yellow one called Emily Carr. Just kidding, I just checked my rose that I got, and it's JP Connell. It's also an Explorer series rose. I lied to you. I don't know why I thought it was Emily Carr. Anyway, carry on. I'm loving yellow, like cool tone yellows, like pale white yellows and the blushy pink, very cottage vibes. And so, yeah. That's kind of everything. And I say we got strawberries. Jim wants to do berries, so we got him some strawberries as well. And my alpine strawberry came back. I thought it was completely dead, dried up and whatever, but I looked yesterday and there's just like the tiniest little leaf. So we'll see what comes of that. And that's everything. That's the update that I have for you right now. If you have any tips on what to do with the greenhouse, leave them in the comment below. If you have any ideas about anything that we're doing, leave it in the comments below. I just posted a quick little tour from last week. This is the most recent video, so you can kind of get a lay of the land. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.